to TMZ Live. We now have video of the last images of Celeste Rivas before she disappeared forever from her family home.
Right, this is Celeste in Lake Elsinore, California, about 70 miles south of Los Angeles, southeast of Los Angeles. And we've told you that she ran away multiple times in early 2024. But we now have footage that shows her fleeing Lake Elsinore in March of 2024.
So this surveillance video was taken from a liquor store. What happened was Celeste's sister came to the liquor store. It's near the bus stop where Celeste would catch the bus to go to school. And the sister was trying to find her. Celeste had already run away a few months earlier, and ultimately police found her in Hollywood, brought her back home. So this time, obviously, the family feared she was running away again. So the sister went to the liquor store owner,
knowing that the bus stopped outside that store every day.
And they wanted to track her to see, did she jump on the bus? What did she do? And the sister then looked at the surveillance video and says, "That's my sister. She's not on the bus."
Correct. And the thing that it's great footage, and obviously you can see her coming in, walking down the street and walking around, but there's just, it's obscured a little bit, so you can't totally tell where she goes after it goes out of the line of sight. So I don't know if the sister then went to other businesses to try to trace her steps, but at least they knew, okay, she went right, she was going down this street, and it's kind of unclear. He thought, the liquor store owner thought maybe she possibly got into a car, but at least from the security footage that we've looked over, you can't see that.
There's interesting, there is one car, and you're right, just before she's out of frame, there is a car that's parked there.
And I think that's the conclusion of the liquor store owner, is he was maybe jumping to the conclusion that she got in that car, because it does pull out in the footage. But
we can't tell from the footage what kind of car it is.
Not at all.
We don't know at that point. We do know that from her teacher at the time said that when she came back, when the police brought her back, she was talking about this guy, David, that she was hanging around with at the very least.
And David was living in the Hollywood area, which is where she was found back in February, just a month before.
And then remember, we found that photo of David where he was actually located in Lake Elsinore. Remember, in the parking lot, only about 6 minutes from her house.
Near the liquor store.
Yeah,
very close to the liquor store. So we spoke to the liquor store owner, and it turns out Celeste and really her whole family had gone to this store. It's near where, it's near the family home. And he kind of painted a picture of Celeste.
She's beautiful, quiet, shy girl. It's not like from the wild girls. And I shocked when I find out first time when she ran away or missing. It's hard.
And you've been interfacing with her family in the years that she's been gone, right?
Yep. For when she missing first time, her sister coming here asked me, and we start looking at the camera to find out where she go, and if we can find anything to get her back.
There is something else that has come out that I find really interesting. It has to do with the car where Celeste's body was found.
Tesla, David's Tesla, where her body was found, and what a private investigator has uncovered about that car and when it was towed. We know what we've known up to this point, that the car was towed on September 5th and that it had been sitting there on the street.
At least 3 days.
At least 3 days. Now we know from these records that the PI dug up, it was there much longer than 3 days.
It may have been there 2 weeks, possibly even longer, because the car had not just one, but 2 tickets on it before it was actually towed. August 26th was the first ticket.
It was someone called in that it was abandoned on August 26th. So someone came in the following day and ticketed on the 27th, then again on the 3rd, and then on the 5th was when they came and towed it to the tow yard.
So the car is sitting there for a long time.
For a long time, at least probably more than 2 weeks.
Now, we can't say for sure that the whole time it was there, that Celeste's body was inside the car. But even if let's say it was, now you're starting to get a better window of when she would have been killed.
So David went on tour in early August.
Yes.
So that would be before that car showed up. By the way, I lived on that street.
And
on
you know that-
Doheny Drive, and I know that street. And they do street cleaning every week. And if you don't move your car on the street cleaning morning, that's when they ticket you. So I think these tickets were issued because of street cleaning.
Because if it would have
days.
been there longer, which it might have been, then they would have ticketed it then, right?
So, yeah.
So let's go to, now we're talking about what an alibi would be if David had anything to do with this, and we don't know that he did. He's not been named a suspect. He was out of town. His tour started, actually even before, Aiden, you said it was before August. He had shows in San Francisco, like a preview show, right?
Yeah, he had a San Francisco show in July 26th area.
And that was sort of like the beginning, before the official tour. The official tour started August 4th in Del Mar.
Yeah, actually the show was July 30th, but he was like already in San Francisco at that time on July 26th.
So
but Del Mar is not too far.
Right. If he's I mean, yeah, it's interesting.
But then he goes to Phoenix.
San Francisco, Del Mar, and then even Phoenix. These are all areas that are very easily to get back to LA.
There's also
those don't work really as an alibi.
Yeah,
I think.
there's also another way of looking at this, and let's just get real for a second. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, David must have done it." There are people, playing armchair detective, and they're saying he did it. I don't know who did it, but there's another theory, which is you got a guy who is dating this girl, because Aiden, you were at that party where people were saying they were boyfriend-girlfriend. With the pictures that we got, right?
Yeah, I never heard that. I never heard the conversation about that, but I was like there the same night.
And that other people had said that.
Yeah.
And so their boyfriend, girlfriend, let's say, based on what we're hearing, they're together all the time. He's posting videos with her, pictures with her, writes a song called Romantic Homicide, writes another song about his obsession with a girl named Celeste. And the body is cut up in the back of his car and left abandoned. So if people think, was it him?
You're saying it's
did he want to get caught if it was? Or is it possible, what a perfect way of framing him?
I mean, we're through the looking glass. It could be.
Well, I'm saying
could be anything.
It's just all I'm saying is it doesn't point to one scenario.
That
yes.
If he did it, why would he put it in his car? Listen, I could sit here and come up with 4 other theories.
I'm just saying it's not automatically one. That's all I'm saying.
True.
Hey, I'm Rhea, and I'm in Atlanta. And while I will agree with Harvey, we don't know if that is the scenario. But man, oh man, the evidence and everything that we're seeing, it's really, really pointing to it possibly being him. But what I will say, even seeing the surveillance footage, it doesn't quite give any more of the story to me about what may happen, because it's so vague. Did she get on the bus? Did she get in the car?
But let me make just one more point to you. She wasn't just walking, she was running.
Absolutely.
And the running part to me is really significant, because if you're just gonna, leave home, there isn't that rush to run because nobody knew where she was even going.
She's running.
She may have been running to catch a car. No.
Excited about who's in the car.
I think maybe she got in the car and she was running toward the car to get in, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Let's have a trial. That is what former FBI Director James Comey is saying after his indictment. The president seemingly told the Department of Justice, this is what I want done. And that's not the way it normally works. Joining us to discuss that is Peter Navarro, who is special counselor to President Trump.
Be right back.
Let's have a trial. That is what former FBI Director James Comey is saying after his indictment. An indictment that shocked a lot of people, even though it shouldn't have, because President Trump came right out and said last weekend, I want this done.
Or else.
And he found someone to do it. The new acting U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Lindsay Halligan, she went into the grand jury and made the case. And now there are 2 counts that Comey is facing, each of them with a maximum of 5 years.
Yes.
It's serious stuff, but he says he is ready to fight this battle. He says, I'm innocent and I am going to have a trial.
And President Trump has just quadrupled down, saying he's one of the worst people in America, James Comey is.
So should we be people who are alarmed by this? What they find alarming is that the president seemingly told the Department of Justice, this is what I want done. And that's not the way it normally works.
Well, they're saying he is choosing targets. He is choosing James Comey. He is choosing Letitia James. He is choosing Adam Schiff and others.
It is a very open, I think the only way to describe it is weaponizing of the Department of Justice. So is that something we should fear, or is it just the way it's going to be now? Joining us to discuss that is Peter Navarro, who is special counselor to President Trump, and also the author of a very interesting book, which we're going to talk about. It's relevant to this. Peter, welcome to TMZ Live.
Good to be with you. And I went to prison, so you won't have to. It's quite germane. But I got to laugh. Yeah, it's like you guys are talking about the weaponization of justice system by the FBI. Hey, where you guys been for the last 8 years? I went to prison. Why? I had a misdemeanor, and the only thing I was guilty of is defending the constitutional separation of powers. Like for 50 years prior to me, the only person ever charged with this crime, the Department of Justice had said, not a crime. It was your duty to refuse a congressional subpoena because of what's called executive privilege.
But Peter, I agree with you that I think that the Biden administration and the Justice Department did weaponize the system. And I think when you look at the prosecutions of Trump for Stormy Daniels and what Alvin Bragg did, I happen to agree with you. But the response to it is put that weaponization on steroids, which is what Trump is doing.
Except, and also, on Inauguration Day, Peter, on Inauguration Day, the president said, I'm going to put an end to the lawfare, to the weaponization of the Department of Justice. He said that himself, and now is tweeting things saying, go get them.
But you're missing the big picture. How do you put an end to weaponized government, right? You don't turn the other cheek. This ain't New Testament time. You have to hold them accountable. The whole message of I went to prison so you won't have to is that if we don't hold these people accountable, they'll do it again. And Comey's just the tip of the iceberg. It's Clapper, it's Brennan, it's Page, it's Strzok,
but Peter, who makes the decision?
If you don't hold them accountable, guys, they're just going to do it again. That's the problem.
Who pulls the strings? Who pulls the levers of justice? Should it be
justice? Does there's no question about that?
But the president, but the president did it. The president told Pam Bondi,
this did not come from
go after Comey. The president said, get rid of the U.S. attorney from the Northern District of Virginia, Eastern District rather, brings in somebody who's had no experience in the criminal justice system, so he can get his way. So are you really serving justice?
You can spin it that way, but at the end of the day, the question is, if the Democrats weaponize government against everybody I serve with, put me in prison, Bannon in prison, for simply doing our duty. If they did that, which they did, if they broke the law with the Russia hoax, if they broke the law doing all the things they did to Trump people, then you have to hold them legally accountable for what they did. That's all we're doing here. And I'm telling you guys, please hear me on this. If they get power back again, they will do the same damn thing. If the House gets controlled by the Democrats in 2026, it's going to be impeachment for God knows what. And it's going to be subpoenas and everything that you can imagine is going to happen. And we don't want that. We don't want that. The whole lawfare concept is something that the Democrats have basically perfected. And it started. Look, I was with the boss back in 2016.
So you're fighting lawfare. So you're fighting lawfare by
Mike Flynn, Dan Scavino, Mark Meadows got subpoenas, spent millions of dollars. Flynn spent $7 million. Everybody I served with, guys.
I get it.
What's the incentive?
But hold on. We're not arguing.
No, actually.
Well, hold on. I just want to say, a lot of what you say, personally, I agree with. What I'm saying is the reaction to what you say was a misuse of the justice system is to misuse it even more.
No, we're using it the way it should be used. I mean, look, there's really serious issues.
But if you're using it the way
Let's
it
be
should
really
be used,
serious. Let's have serious issues here. The guy who put me in leg eyes is a guy named Walter Giardini. He's an FBI agent. Now, why is he relevant to this discussion? Well, the original Russia hoax started with something called the Steele dossier. Now, you guys will agree with me, because it's fact, that the Steele dossier was paid for by the Clinton campaign. It was a piece of propaganda. It was fake. But this guy Giardina,
that's fact.
that is fact. That's fact. You guys,
there's a lot of evidence. You're right. There's a lot of evidence. Yeah, a lot of evidence. You're right.
That was a fake dossier. Please, let's agree on that fact. And so my point is that this FBI agent Giardina said it was real, and that set in motion the illegal FISA warrants, which took like Carter Page out. That begat Crossfire Hurricane, and it begat the whole kind of Russia hoax narrative, which was used as a form first of election interference in the 2016 election, and that is a way where they hope to take Donald Trump out. Now, how can you not want to crack down on the illegality?
I know you're saying that where I want to disagree with you is that, yes, maybe there were prosecutions against President Trump that should not have gone forward. January 6th absolutely should have gone forward. And Peter,
I agree with that.
That's what you went to prison for because you refused to testify. But that's what you went to prison for because you refused to testify about what happened on January 6th, right?
Yeah,
that's why you went to prison. That's why Steve Bannon was sentenced.
That wasn't it. I simply refused a subpoena.
Yeah,
and the
Congress
point is that for 50 years,
the
Department of Justice policy says that you don't do that. But let me ask you this. I mean, what do you think that was in Portland? That was going on.
Wasn't an overthrow of the government. That wasn't an attempt. Portland and all the other cities were not an attempt to derail the peaceful transfer of power, which is what January 6th was.
Clearly.
Which makes it much different.
That's not clear. That's not clear.
It's really
Come on, can't we agree on that?
Peter, can we, I want to just settle this with one thing. You had mentioned what would happen if the Democrats regain power.
Yes.
And it made me think, and I think there's a simple answer one way or the other here. Yeah. Will there be a presidential election with certainty in 2028? And will Donald Trump not try and stay in the White House after his term expires?
He's just trolling left. Come on, I've said, come on, you guys don't take the bait. You guys are too smart for that, okay? But the bigger issue
I'm actually maybe I'm not smart enough because I'm worried about it. I'm actually worried about it.
Well, don't worry about it. But here's what you should be worried about, and this is the problem. This whole weaponization of government and the attack on Trump people for the last 8 years. I mean, they tried to put Trump in prison, 4 different courts. They tried to kill him twice. I just lost a very good friend of mine, gentlemen, Charlie Kirk, to an assassination. And we here on the Trump side of the fence firmly believe that the aggression is aimed at us. We're not aiming at them. And all we're trying to do is bring law and order back to this country in a way where people can be prosperous. You know, my job at the White House is simply to create blue-collar manufacturing jobs, people who work with their hands. I've been doing that, and we do it very well. But we're in a bad place with this lawfare, my friends, in this weaponization of government. And again, the principle here is simple. If you don't hold them accountable,
in a bad place with the lawfare.
If you don't hold them accountable, they'll do it again.
All right. Well, Peter, thank you for joining us. As you mentioned, your book, I know in your excitement, you knocked over the book. I will give you the plug.
I've been over
went to prison, so you won't have to.
Like that for that in real time here. So
I went to prison, so you won't have to. A love and lawfare story in Trump.
There you go. She says she loved your show.
I've been watching you for years. Nice to see you.
Well, thank you guys very much. Thank you, Peter.
Guys, anytime you want to chat, you just have Katie give me a call.
You got it. Thanks, Peter.
Coming up.
Armie Hammer was out and about here in LA and apparently on a date.
You gotta be a little nervous.
Why?
Well, first of all, the restaurant he chose was obviously very strategic, right? Like, he's not taking this girl to barbecue, they're going to sushi.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. Armie Hammer was out and about here in LA and apparently on a date.
Seems to be.
With a mystery woman walking around. They went
Brentwood.
In Westwood, went to get some sushi and then took a stroll around a little farmer's market area. Pretty interesting.
Why?
What's interesting
Why?
is that a lot of people who saw this video, and I was looking at comments, think it's strange that a woman would want to go out with Armie Hammer after the allegations. We should say he was not charged
At
or
all.
was not
At all.
with any. There were certainly allegations that.
A lot of people make a lot of allegations. He was never charged.
And there were things that he admitted to. And there were things that he admitted to.
Well, by the way, and a long-ass investigation by the LA
Very
PD
long investigation.
that they just let sit because I think they were afraid. The climate was such.
And I think the length of the investigation certainly affected his career.
It totally did. Wasn't it 2 years?
Yes. But look, the guy's getting on with his life and going on a date.
And so what?
As for whether or not someone would want to go out with him,
what?
You got to be a little nervous.
Why?
Well, first of all, the restaurant he chose was obviously very strategic, right? Like, he's not taking this girl to barbecue. They're going to sushi.
Oh, would you stop?
Oh, Katie, come on.
Well,
would you stop?
He said he wanted to barbecue a lady's ribs, so he's not going to.
He's not
going to.
It was role play.
Not going to check out the baby back ribs.
It was role play.
But sushi's the safest choice.
Does he start the date going, I like your baby back, baby back, baby
yeah,
back? Baby.
Exactly. And then farmer's market, all vegetables. We're not going to like a meat-heavy barbecue restaurant.
But seriously,
it does have to live in the back of her head a little bit,
Why?
right?
Why?
Because you know this guy, he was very famously was into cannibalism, whether he did it or it was
even
just
if you're
like
not famous,
foreplay talking about it.
Even if you're not famous, the way people date now is they Google someone. And
Yeah.
He is
and so you're going to read those things, and of course it's going to be in your head.
Why?
Because she's human. Whoever this woman is, like, how is it not in her head?
I just want to be ready for it. I want my comeback ready when he's like, hey, I'd love to barbecue your ribs. I need to know how I feel about that.
First of all, you know he's not. You know what? He's not going to say that.
Look, he did admit to.
What did he admit to?
He admitted to that there are certain things he liked to do in
foreplay and fantasy, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But as the woman going out with him, you have to be prepped for it.
Exactly.
But that's fair enough.
If you're into it, then that's fine.
Exactly.
But if you're not, then you would be cautious.
Me personally, like on my ribs on my inside, not charred.
No. But that's the thing. I feel bad for him.
I do too.
No, I really do. That he's got this thing that he eats people. He doesn't eat people. He didn't eat.
No, you're right. He's not like the classic cannibal.
When we put a poll up on our live stream.
Okay, so we put a poll up. Would you date Armie Hammer? What do you think? First of all,
I think
most said
80% no.
Yeah, which is BS, but that's what they did.
60% no.
I've guessed.
86% said no.
Yeah.
86.
14% said yes.
He's comes from a very wealthy family.
But he's not wealthy
he's
anymore.
Not wealthy anymore.
Yeah, I know.
So we've got a lot of X's and red
Good-looking
flags.
guy. He's been successful.
And probably will be again.
And probably will be again.
Yeah. Listen, I don't think he should be canceled, but I think if you're a woman that's asked on a date by Armie Hammer, there's some considerations there.
You think about stuff.
You think about stuff.
So let me ask you this. Is it more intriguing for some women?
Oh, God, I'm sure.
I mean,
There's
in a way.
Clearly.
This lady.
14%.
Well, I'm not just saying this lady. I'm
14% of women out there are into what he's selling.
And by the way, if a man gives a woman a hickey or vice versa, that's adjacent in a way. And yet nobody.
Sir, do you know what a hickey is?
I do know what a hickey is.
Not adjacent.
A hickey is not
I know
adjacent.
what a hickey is.
Cannibalism.
I'm just saying it opens the door, is what I'm saying. And nobody gets dragged for that. And nobody gets dragged for that.
For hickeys? Nobody gives hickeys anymore.
This
is for 1950s and 50s.
This was role playing.
My name's Maya from Los Angeles, and I don't know what kind of woman it takes to go on a date with Armie Hammer at this point. I think personally, for me, alleged cannibalism, it would give me the ick. I think that's a deal breaker. But we don't really know what she's into. Maybe this is her thing.
Can I ask you a question? And I'm not. Look, I wasn't between the two of them.
Are you going to ask her about hickeys?
No.
Right.
Isn't it possible that somebody has a bad breakup and they make an allegation against somebody? Do you just automatically? And you automatically believe it because he was not criminally charged with this, and they investigated him for 2 years.
You know, just because he wasn't charged with it, it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
But it doesn't mean it did. But it doesn't mean it did.
It's something to think about for sure. I think it would be a red flag for me, I think.
Coming up.
There has been a lot of conversation this week, for good reason, about Tylenol and autism. And Jenny McCarthy has decided to add her voice to the conversation.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. There has been a lot of conversation this week, for good reason, about Tylenol and autism. And Jenny McCarthy has decided to add her voice to the conversation. Now, we all know that Jenny McCarthy for years has been talking about autism. Her son is on the spectrum. And so she wanted to weigh in with what she says she knows about Tylenol and why she says it shouldn't be taken by pregnant moms. Now, there should be a disclaimer before what Jenny's about to say here. And I guess that's the issue with how she's saying it. This is what.
Well, you don't have to be an expert on Tylenol because we know that.
No. Well, that's if you're believing President Trump, but Dr. Oz told us something different. Here's what Jenny had to say.
Tylenol basically depletes your glutathione. It lowers it. What is glutathione? Glutathione is your body's natural antioxidant. It's a wonderful thing that helps us detox all the environmental toxins that we're assaulted with every single day. So for instance, you go to the doctor and you say to the doctor, hey, I'm really worried about the adjuvants inside this vaccine, adjuvant being aluminum. The doctor would say, don't worry, your body naturally excretes it. Okay, sure, that's true. But what if your body is low in glutathione, that it cannot detox the adjuvants, the aluminum in the body? Then it winds up floating around the body, attaching to brain, gut, you name it. Now, some people say, hey, I never used Tylenol, but my kid has still got diagnosed with autism. Well, that's the same with me. We didn't use Tylenol, but we naturally have low glutathione, me and Evan. Very low, so low that every week we get IV infusions. So if you're unsure, test yourself and your levels of glutathione.
So now we've added something, glutathione, which I did not know about. And I think that's great that Jenny is adding more information for people to
We're
use.
not sure because we are not doctors, so we don't know whether what she's saying is dead on or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to say, at a point, guys, you got to trust your doctor because doctors look at this research and, you know, we're hearing from politicians and celebrities and all these people. There have been a lot of studies, and when we had Dr. Oz on, Dr. Oz, he acknowledged, he said, look, he said Trump overstated, and that if somebody has a high fever and they're in their first trimester, Tylenol can prevent birth defects.
Right.
So
it's about how much you take it, how often you take it,
and why
the
you take
advice
it. Yeah.
that you should take from your doctor.
Hi, I'm Jonah from Houston, Texas, and I think Jenny has an interesting take on this topic. I think they should test the glutathione levels in the children prior to the vaccines. Now, in my personal experience, my son was vaccinated at the age of 1. He immediately stopped talking. I had to teach him how to talk again by the age of 3. No, I don't think it was the Tylenol, but I think maybe the combination of the two needs further examination because of the fact that we have to give them more Tylenol right after those vaccines.
Again, it does need further examination, which Dr. Oz himself admitted.
Right.
By the way, Jenny did say in her caption, you should check with your doctor. So that is responsible.
Sage advice.
Yes. Pete Davidson is opening up about his sobriety and how he got to this point where he's decided that this is the path for him. You know, of course, that he went to rehab, but what he's now revealing is a phone call that he got from his mother while in rehab that made all the difference. This is what he had to say when he's on Theo Von's podcast.
Got to a point where she called me when I was in rehab, and she was like, my biggest fear is that I will turn on the news and see that my son has died. And she's never been like that, like, you know, because she's so supportive and just, you know, wants to always have positivity around.
Yeah, and she already lost something she loved. That'd
exactly, and that killed me.
Oh.
Yeah, so like I was like, all right, you know, can't die until she's dead, at least.
Yeah. All right, Amy.
Yeah. You got it. Yeah, like when that lady says that to you, look at that lady. I mean, how are you going to be like, I would have to be a heartless sociopath to not get my together, you know?
It's always moms, man. It's always moms.
But it's so interesting. I mean, I know a lot of people in my life that have gone to rehab, and sometimes it just, what we've covered, how many people that go and they come back, and they go and they come back. You need that connection. But first of all, you need the connection just to go. But even when you do, if you're not ready to really do the work, and it takes something like that. It takes sometimes hitting bottom or getting
or
that
being reminded of something. I mean,
and you got to remember
making the reference to his father dying in 9/11.
That's
and not wanting to put his mom through another tragedy.
Yet
like
he
that.
made it funny by saying,
I still made it funny. I can't die until that lady's gone.
she's dead. I mean, that was.
He does really seem like though he's now okay, right? I mean, LC he's having a baby. Sobriety is a constant battle, but you have either these rock bottom moments where you're at your end, or you have a wake up call. And it sounds like his mother saying that to him really shook him. And it looks like he's going to come out the other side, at least for now. It's a daily struggle.
And even he would say, I would think, that, yeah, he might fall off the wagon at some point, but that doesn't mean that you failed. You just start again.
He seems mature to me.
A lot of people fall off the wagon, so they kind of expect that. I mean, what's interesting is, you know, and again, I wish the best for Pete Davidson, but, you know, you watch Matthew Perry when he was doing interviews after his book, and you thought, wow, he's come out the other side, and he didn't. And then, you know, I was thinking of it because I watched the Charlie Sheen doc last week, and he looks great. And frankly, I met with Charlie 2 years ago, and he seemed great. So he's been really good,
but it's delicate.
It is a daily thing.
Hey, I'm Christiana. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. And I think that Pete is really, really relatable. He may not even really be your cup of tea, but one thing he's done an excellent job throughout his entire career is just making sure that he's real and he's telling his truth. I really, really wish him the best with the rest of his sobriety journey.
As do we. As do we.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming up.
There is literally a citywide sale going on in Vegas, and actually, if you're thinking about going, today is the last day of that sale, because Vegas is hurting. Can they turn it around? We are going to follow the money with our buddy Daymond John.
Be right back.
Do you remember Crazy Eddie?
Yeah, Crazy Eddie with TVs.
Everything must go! Right. Well, in Vegas, that's what they're saying. There is literally a citywide sale going on in Vegas, and actually, if you're thinking about going, today is the last day of that sale. And the reason that they're doing this, they've never done this before, is Vegas is hurting. Vegas
is crazy.
Tourism is down big time, and so much so, you've had all these hotels and venues kind of band together and say, we got to do this citywide sale. They've never done it before. That's how bad it is. They're trying to follow the money. I mean, really, even when things are good in Vegas, they're following the money. But now things are down. Can they turn it around? We are going to follow the money with our favorite gamble, because I never know what he's going to say. So it's always a gamble every week. Our buddy Daymond John from Shark Tank here to follow the money.
Daymond, I got to ask you though, before we start, why? I mean, I thought Vegas, because of you know, the Backstreet Boys and the Eagles and all of that.
You're talking about one venue. You're talking about the Sphere.
I know, but explain to me how Vegas can go from this, like, you know, mandatory destination to this. I don't get it.
Well, first of all, thank you. So, you know what you have to think about? Vegas, just like cities, just like governments, they have to market. Everybody has to market. And you think about it like this, what's happening? Well, United States is not necessarily the most welcoming place anymore for tourists out of the country. You have people who really balled out for a long period of time in Vegas, and now they're going, well, it's getting tight with money. Do I really want to go to a city where actually the number one thing to do is just literally throw away money, right? And then you have other countries like Japan, Croatia, and China is getting huge in regards to Macau and gambling, where Vegas is built around a lot of the Asian culture. If you go there, a lot of these casinos are red because they're trying to attract China and Asia. So you have a lot of competition, and now it's How do we market again? Listen, this happened in the 90s where Vegas turned into, instead of the big boy town, it turned into a family town. Let's build circus.
Yeah.
Let's build all this other stuff. So it's all about, everybody here has to understand that you have to market no matter what you have. And this is what Vegas is doing.
So is this going to be enough to sort of spark some renewal here in Vegas? There are 50% off some hotel rooms. They have waived the resort fees, which, by the way, if you've ever stayed at a hotel in Vegas, when you look at the bill, for some reason, there's hundreds of dollars of resort fees.
Exactly, yeah.
Free parking and $99 massages.
They're making all these adjustments. So let's look at this, though. You know, Miami had a surge, and after the Zika, they went on sale, and Miami jumped 14% in revenue. New York, after all the things that recently happened, San Fran and New York, and we know that these are not cities that had a good experience in COVID. They jumped in sales. So now this could work because you have Vegas butting up against World Cup that's coming in. You got Vegas butting up against various other things. So if they can sit there and get these people back in there and say, and when you come to World Cup, the entire world, why don't you hop on over to Vegas? They're going to have to do way more than just this. But to our follow the people money, follow the money people, you got that's dyslexia. Shout out to dyslexia. You have to take advantage of this because there's going to be more and more sales. Because if it doesn't work, they're going to double down on it. And it works, they're going to triple down on it. You got to start looking for these opportunities to get to Vegas.
Is this any way a reflection of the economy, that people just don't have the money to do it? Or is it just they just don't want to waste their money anymore?
I think it's both. I think they don't have the money to do it. I think we all keep saying the sky is falling with people losing jobs. I think that the younger generation is more self-conscious and they're not drinking as much.
Yeah.
So if you're not drinking as much, it's not fueling a lot of this. Right. And I think that as we see, there's a very visual world. People are starting to really want to go to Asia and South, other places to experience things because they've seen Vegas a million times already. I think there's a lot of stuff impacting it. But, they're building all these sports teams and all that other stuff as, people start losing jobs or even maybe universal pay comes around. One thing they're going to do is say, I want to catch things live because I'm not going to be able to see a sport game. I can see it later on, but I want to be there in real time. I think it will come back.
Can I just ask one more question? If it's hurting so bad, why did I get totally fleeced buying Eagles tickets?
Because you don't know how to use the ticket site that you were on.
No, it says.
This is twice now that Daymond, he goes on and ends up paying. We went to the same exact event on different days last month, and he paid in the same seats, and he paid like 4 times what I paid.
Which I don't understand.
Because he doesn't know how to use
it's the algorithm. It's AI. When AI saw that you had advertising and you got caught in advertising on MySpace, they were like, oh, this one. we got a wet one. We got a wet one. Pull him in.
Yeah, exactly. Daymond, thanks, man. We will talk to you next week. I got to go book a room in Vegas.
I'm doing it
in Vegas, baby.
Yeah.
See you in Vegas, baby.
I got to make my money back from the Eagles, so I'm going to find a hotel now. Thanks, Daymond.
All right, guys.
See ya.
Coming up.
Well, big breaking news for Jimmy Kimmel. His show will be seen in a much larger portion of the country.
My guess is Kimmel will be fully back.
Be right back.
On the TMZ Celebrity Tour, we've seen huge stars like Kevin Hart, Rihanna, Ben Affleck, The Rock, Mark Wahlberg, Lizzo, Lady Gaga, Ryan Seacrest, and Jamie Foxx. Buses depart daily from the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood, so head to TMZTour.com and book your tickets for the TMZ Celebrity Tour.
Well, big breaking news for Jimmy Kimmel. His show will be seen in a much larger portion of the country. Sinclair, the station group that owns 40 ABC stations, ABC-affiliated stations, has decided they will start airing Kimmel again. Is it tonight, guys?
When are they doing it tonight, Dev? Friday.
As of
Friday.
Friday.
That's tonight. So they have 40 stations. Nexstar is the biggest, actually. Even though they have fewer stations, they're in bigger cities. But they said a couple of days ago. In fact, right after Kimmel debuted, after being suspended, they said they were in talks with Disney. My guess is there's going to be a lot of pressure on Nexstar too.
Well, remember, Nexstar is the station group that has the merger coming up.
But they have a lot of
worried
pressure
about the FCC.
I know, but they have a lot of pressure with the network because of obligations they have there. So my guess is Kimmel will be fully back. And Kimmel is not pulling back either, which is interesting. Didn't pull back, but Sinclair is now back in line. That is really telling. That is really interesting.
Hi, I'm Lexi from Newfoundland, and I love Jimmy Kimmel. I think this whole thing was insane and actually did him it's good for his ratings because there's more people watching now.
Oh, he had huge ratings the first night. Huge.
He'll have a bounce for a while and
huge.
We'll see.
What else do you guys want to talk about?
Hi, I'm Carrington from Houston, Texas, and I kind of want to talk about this David situation. It's mind-blowing to me that his friends knew that he was dating her, and even if they thought she was 19 years old, you can tell the difference between a 13-year-old and a 19-year-old. I'm really just wondering when the investigators are going to call him in, at least about the minor issue. But I'm hoping her family gets justice. This story is like mind-blowing each and every day.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Aiden in our office partied with some of the people who thought she was 19. Their minds were blown. They thought she went to USC. They had no idea. One more.
Hey, I'm Rebecca from Alabama, and I'm here to talk about Jenny's comments. I think that every parent should be able to make an informed decision, and I don't think that all vaccines are good or all vaccines are bad. I think it's good that we have the option to talk to our doctors and figure out what is best for our children.
Yeah. That's the smart way of looking at it.
Talk to your doctor about it.
Absolutely.
Coming up.
Have we got a deal for you? If you've got roughly $11 million.
No, God, you screwed it up. I wanted to play a game with them.
Oh, okay.
Yolanda Hadid's home, 5 different structures. It is beautiful.
Be right back.
Have we got a deal for you? If you've got roughly $11 million.
No, God, you screwed it up. I wanted to play a game with them.
Oh, okay. How much would you pay?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think?
Well, guess what?
No, what do you think?
You don't have to pay that amount. Show them what they could possibly win.
Okay, Bob, here's what you get. This is 30 acres in Pennsylvania. This is Yolanda
County, Pennsylvania.
Yolanda Hadid's home, 5 different structures. It is beautiful. 30 acres, folks. Look at that.
All that.
Tree-lined driveway leading up to the main mansion. They have
colonial style. Ooh, that's beautiful.
They have a cement pond that would be the envy of all your neighbors.
It is really
It's
an
gorgeous.
oasis
No, it's
out
gorgeous.
in the middle of Bucks County.
It's, what is it, 10.2 million?
10.8 they've listed it for, but listen, you could.
I wanted people to guess the price. In Los Angeles, $80 to $100 million if it were in West LA. 30 acres?
Yeah, if you had 30 acres in the middle of West LA, that would be pretty impressive.
Absolutely. So,
sorry I screwed it up for you.
God, why is she selling? She's going to downsize to 20 acres. Have a good weekend.